I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-magob, it's time for the only news that matters. And KK Downing is at it again. He's saying that he wasn't allowed to walk the red carpet with Judas Priest at Rock Hall. KK did an interview with Chaos Zine, and they asked him what was it like to reunite with his former bandmates for the performance at last year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. He responded, "Well, I was kind of debating whether to go there and do it or not because of all the circumstances. Plus, it was a long time ago." Referencing former Priest drummer Les Binks, who played at the Rock Hall as well, Downey said, the manager told us that we were guests of the band, me and Les. I'm going, fuck off. If anything, I'm a guest of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I'm there to accept my own award in my own right. I'm not a guest of anybody. And then they were going to dictate the songs and what was going to be played. And I said, oh, fuck. Should I bother doing this? You know what I mean? Can I be really bothered? And these people were saying, you gotta go. And then the people were saying, you gotta go. It'll never happen again, obviously, in your lifetime. You deserve this. And anyway, so I decided, okay, I'll go. But obviously, we were kept separated and not allowed to walk the red carpet together, which was really sad. But that's the way they wanted it. KK did say that Richie Faulkner was awesome, came in the dressing room, and he's old friends with Andy Sneap. But he said, like, even right up to the performance, he said he wasn't sure. He said, I kept saying to myself, am I doing the right thing here? Is this really heavy metal? I'm with a bunch of guys that hate me. And I'm looking at Ed Sheeran. I'm looking at Dolly Parton. And I'm thinking, fuck it. Am I in the right place? Is it all a dream? I'm thinking, what the hell? Just grab the guitar and do it and get to the pub. And that's what I did. Came off stage, put on my clothes, went straight back to the hotel bar and had some beers, and it was great. KK also confirmed that he did have a brief chat with Rob Halford at the Rock Hall. He said, Rob came over to me, and I initially didn't want to speak with him because he left the band for 14 years, and I was instrumental in reinstating him back in the band. Having him back in, and then he tells me that I can't rejoin the band. How does that work? I don't even know how that works. According to KK, it's Priest guitarist Glenn Tipton and Priest's longtime manager Jane Andrews who makes all the decisions for the band. And I hate to say it, but Rob is just, I really think that the only reason I spoke to Rob at the Rock Hall is because I think he's being controlled. That's the only reason. I don't believe that Rob voted not to have me back in Priest. I think he's forced to. I think Rob has voted me in, but it was their choice, and now Richie's off doing his own thing with his project, Elegant Weapons, and everything. So it's not looking great for him, really, is it? In a different interview with Rock the Nation, KK did talk about asking a couple times if they wanted him to step back into the role, and the answer always came back no. So it is what it is. And then I went, okay, fine. Then I will start a new band. And that's what I've done. And now I'm pretty happy, really, because I've rediscovered, I used to write all the material for the band back in the 80s, early 70s and 60s and 80s. And I forgot what it was like to be, it's kind of nice to put material down and just say what goes and what doesn't to yourself. And without having to collaborate and everything takes so long, it's great to just get on with it. Downey went on to say that he is particularly disappointed that fellow founder, Judas Priest member Ian Hill, has seemed decided against having KK rejoin the band. Said, honestly, the worst thing about the whole thing is that Ian has denied me the opportunity to step back into the band. I mean, he went to kindergarten together with me, and we were like brothers, and we spent many years at the back of the bus complaining about everybody else. You know, I always thought that it was me and him for many years, but I just don't know what that can happen now. Like I said, and Rob Halford left the band for 14 years, and then I was instrumental in inviting him back into the band. How can he deny my opportunity to go back on stage and play my songs? They're saying, you gotta do it, but you can't because Ian and Rob never wrote any of the music for this band. Asked if he thinks Ian has been pressured by the Priest management or by Rob and guitarist Glenn Tipton to keep Downey from returning to the band, KK said, something's wrong somewhere. It doesn't make sense. How can Ian, the bass player that has never written songs, denied me the opportunity of being in the band? All of those years I've written all those songs and riffs, but how can he stand over there and play bass and not allow me to play the guitar to those songs? It doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense not to have the original guy from the trademark lineup. It doesn't make any sense. Am I that bad? But anyway, so I've gone ahead and made 2 albums with KK's Priest in 2 years. And those guys haven't done 2 albums in 14 years. I don't get it. I just don't get it. He says, well, somebody out there has decided that I'm going to change the history and I'm going to be the one that's going to decide what the fans hear and what they don't, and who they see and who they don't. Somebody in that band is making those decisions, but they only have it on their conscience, really, because we all know what the fans, I mean, Ripper Owens is a great singer, and he made 2 great albums with us. We did so many tours, and he's a lovely guy, and he's great. But the fans' demand to have Rob back in the band was just too overwhelming, really, because Rob, I guess, their assertion is Rob is the voice of the band, just like Freddie Mercury with Queen or Bruce Dickinson with Iron Maiden. And the list goes on and on and on. So that's undeniable. And I think that Ripper would be the first to acknowledge that and get that. Even if he sang the songs better, as we spoke, Rob is the voice of Judas Priest. And now gladly Ripper is the voice of KK's Priest because the guy is singing so much better than he's ever sang before. It's fantastic. So I'm so fortunate to have him back in the saddle with us. Asked if he would consider rejoining Judas Priest if the band was going to make one final album and he was approached about it, Downey said, one thing for sure, that will never ever happen. I know Glenn's retired from touring, but whether he can write or record, I don't know. I haven't had an update on Glenn's health, sadly. I really don't know, but it's only because I'm so close in the industry. I hear an awful lot of things from a long time ago, but like I said, unconfirmed. I would have to say at this point, I spent a lot of time and effort trying to work things out in a way, he explained. It's pretty complicated stuff, like I say. I wasn't happy with a lot of the things. So the 50th anniversary book and everything that's done, I don't get anything, any money from any of that whatsoever. So it gets tough to see all the merchandise with all these images that I paid for and was part of the creation. A lot of these images. It gets very commercial, the whole thing, and maybe that's what it's all about anyway. All right, I'm going to stop here because I'm getting a headache from all the complaining KK's doing. Though I see this as they both are to blame for not having KK back in the band. Now, the part where he says that he blames management for what Rob Halford thinks and that Rob would vote him back in, I believe that, actually. I really do. But Ken has done so many bad mouthing, especially to Jane Andrews, the manager. So, you know, and I got to say, it's so sad because, you know, like many Priest fans, hardcore fans like myself, we all want KK back. Anybody that doesn't want KK back in the band, you're not a hardcore Priest fan. I'm sorry. But you have no respect for one of the greatest metal bands ever. The guy that did Sinner, Descended Aggressor, those guitar solos. The guy is Judas Priest as much as it is Rob Halford, as much as it is Glenn Tipton, and even more than it is for Ian Hill, because Ian Hill doesn't write anything. But I love Ian Hill too. I love them all. But this whole thing is so complicated because what it is that also when you listen to Judas Priest's side of the story of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, KK kept his distance from them. Now maybe KK did that because they didn't invite him on the red carpet or whatever it will be. But if you ask me, man, I would love for KK to chill out for a while, you know, swallow his ego for a little bit and just play along so he can get back in the band or at least try. And he should have been very nice to them at Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Try to invite himself into their area. And then if they would have blown him off or anything, then he would have enough reasons to bitch about it. But according to Judas Priest, he was very standoffish to the other guys in the band. And you already hear him complaining about, you know, the certain things that Judas Priest wanted to do to rock and roll. So, yeah, I want KK Downing back, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen because, number one, they're very long in the tooth. How long can Rob Halford keep doing this? It can't. No way it's going to be 10 more years. I doubt it. We're at the tail end of this. And if KK doesn't rejoin now, he's never going to rejoin. They got a new album coming out. They're already done with it. It'll be out next year. No KK on it. And they'll do their 50-year anniversary, which is ridiculous because 50 years should be like when Rock-a-Rolla came out. But anyway, whatever. All I know, this is disgusting. It sucks. But I will say this. I think the worst part of all this is that KK Downing didn't say, F you, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and pull a Johnny Rotten on them. And write a letter about how they're a disgraceful place. But I guess KK doesn't think that way. And many people don't think that way. But I got to give it up to Johnny Rotten, who let the Rock Hall of Fame say, let them know. You guys suck, and I don't want to be no part of this shit. And that's why Johnny Rotten is my hero. It's one of the many examples. But either way, this is sad. Wish they would get back together with KK. Though, I got to say, I love Firepower. And look forward to whatever they release next. But I sure wish KK was there, but it ain't going to happen. But anyway, that's it for the only news that matters. And I want to thank you all for watching. You all rule. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't and ring the little notification bell and like the video because it's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston, and so never more shall we see you again.